something that people should know about?
Oh God, there's so many. I don't even know where to start. I'll do the intro and put the gloves down. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. We're in the clinic with Teresa, or TT, or T, or just wench, depending on what email I'm sending you. We are going to film a why would I say we are going to film? We are filming at this moment in time a Q&A. I asked on the blog and on Instagram last night for questions, and boy, did we get questions.
Did we get questions?
So we haven't looked at them together. I just basically said, did you see the questions? And she went, no, I've been too busy. Oh, I'm sorry.
Some of us have got better things to do than look at Instagram, you know.
Yeah, rude. Right, so what we'll do, we'll start and then hopefully we'll get some banter. Because we don't always agree on it. We agree on 95% of things, don't we?
Yeah.
I think we do.
I think so.
I think we agree on way more than we disagree on.
Yes.
In fact, what do we disagree on? Probably football teams, that's about it.
What do we disagree on? What do we disagree on?
Well, let's wait and see.
Tea. I like green tea.
Vile. Right, okay. I'm so excited, I love a Q&A. Right. I'm interested in retraining to be a facialist, but all courses seem to be makeup heavy. Is there one that you can recommend? I wouldn't say there's a specific one, but tell us about your training. Where did you train?
Oh gosh.
I know back in the days of donkeys and carts.
Time ago. Do you know what? Honestly, I don't know any. I genuinely don't know any training schools in London. But
I do, but I'll put those on the blog with some leftover questions. But how did you do your training? How did you get into it?
About 21 years ago, 22 years ago maybe, I trained in Sheffield, where I'm from, and it was a full-time, 2 years course, and then I've done
everything since.
So many training courses since.
What made you want to be a facialist?
I really can't remember, but what made me want to do more skin is because I suffered with skin. Right. So that's why I've gone down.
We all have a similar story, don't we? Everyone has a story of, well, actually I had really shocking skin, or someone always has a backstory, which is nice because you have real empathy with your clients. And
I think it's quite important. I don't really know much about the education today, but I think there's a lot of quick courses. I think it's really important to study anatomy and physiology too, which is what we both did.
Yeah. The harder the course, important. I get people moaning saying, "Oh, my course is really hard," and I'm like, "Good."
Yeah.
The harder because I trained at Steiner, as it was in the old days, with Mrs. Wackett, who I believe is still an examiner. Scary, like Maggie Thatcher in More Pearls, literally. And she would walk in and everyone would go, "Hi, Mrs. Wackett." And I love it because I know that some of the girls who I went to school with watch this and will be going, "Oh my God, we used to call her Wacky Wackett." But you know, you need a really thorough tutor, and you want someone who's going to pull you up on everything.
But it's the hours again, you know, it's
putting in the time.
It's the practice. It's, you know, I'm still learning now after all these years. Every single day I have to concentrate so hard on that skin type because everyone's different, every skin's different, and that's why it's sometimes hard to answer some of these questions. Actually.
Yeah. Well, the other thing is that you don't try and bullshit people. So if we don't know, we'll go, "Oh, actually, I don't know. Who can we ask?" Because there are people with different strengths. Or we'll test it on each other, or you know,
we'll test it on the client, and we'll bring them back in for treatment. But I think I'm a bit more experienced these days to know when someone's going to react to something, and just don't go there.
Totally. Anti-aging treatments for sensitive skin, i.e. when acids and retinoids wreak havoc.
Okay. Right, okay. So we get a lot of emails where we get asked questions about certain skin types, certain things, eczema, psoriasis, pigmentation. I think it's really hard to actually answer that without seeing the skin.
Absolutely. That's the first thing. Yeah, always.
Which is an obvious answer to say, really, but not to some people.
I mean, I would say from a home care point of view, because that's one thing we do have different strengths in. Teresa is a walking Bible of treatments. I'm more of a guide in treatment levels, and I'm a walking Bible of product, and you're a guide of product. Would you agree with that much?
Definitely.
So for the home,
I have a little collection of
you love specific things, whereas because of my work history, I've had to gather a bigger knowledge, which is, you know, just the way it is. But in terms of home care, I would say the key things would be avoid anything foaming, anything stripping. From my point of view, I would also avoid fragrance. Now, the poor person at home probably does all of this anyway. I would also make sure you've tested yourself for allergies and things like that. And assuming all that is done, if you had someone lie in the bed and they hadn't emailed you and they said, I'm really sensitive, and someone who's genuinely reactive, not someone that we all know I don't mean like we would know, but there is always that client who goes, I'm really sensitive.
Everyone.
I'm sensitive. But you're actually not, because I can see your skin. But anyway, so let's assume you have a genuinely reactive skin person on the bed. What would you do and what wouldn't you do is probably the best way.
At home, I wouldn't use anything that's manual exfoliation. Actually, this is a genuine. We haven't prepped the questions.
No.
What is your thoughts on?
Not big fan.
No.
As gentle as possible. I like an acid. I don't mind a scrub, but the word scrub in its essence I disagree with. I don't mind a gentle exfoliating, something that will, like maybe something that's granular that diminishes on the skin.
Yeah.
And I hate anything that's rough. Like
not for rosacea.
No. Yeah. You don't want to be doing this because your face would go wah.
How's it going?
So if they're on the bed and they're already here, what would you do?
For sensitive skin, LED for sure.
Yeah, I love
LED.
It's just off camera, but you've seen that before.
LED is fantastic. Sometimes to the point where you can visibly see that someone, especially guys, weirdly, I'm really noticing that I've got a few rosacea guys and someone that's got real pustule acne, and it really does take it down, even in one session.
Yeah.
Can't always guarantee that, just to make you
But
aware.
that is my experience
But
too,
that is really good. In regards to retinols, again, a genuine question to you, Caroline. What are your favourite retinol products?
Oh, well, see, we've got all this coming up because I'm going to do a huge retinol. No,
okay.
Totally. I can skim over. I find that my skin, as I lean into doing retinols properly, and I'm testing one at the moment that I've signed an NDA on, but it is super strong, and I've had to take a break from it, and that's me.
Yeah.
And I can pretty much test a lot. So I don't like faffy people. Here's what I don't like, and I know this is going to sound really harsh. I don't like the green retinol movement. There is no plant that will do what a retinoic acid will do that's been made and put into a cream that's sold in a clinic.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no like, this leaf of this plant found in the Maldives is going to have the same effect as an over-the-counter or even a prescription retinoid or even an over-the-counter retinoid. I don't think it is, and it's not my experience. So I like a clinical retinoid. I like Neostrata. I like, I've gone brain dead. What's the one we sell upstairs?
Retroderm,
Neostrata. I've used SkinCeuticals. It was okay. I think the Neostrata's a bit better for me. Of course, my big thing at the moment is I'm really into my Differin, which is slightly different, but that has worked because that's just... I've got 4 tubes, I'll give you one.
Thanks.
Oh, I love a bit of Differin, which isn't technically a vitamin A, but so I do like proper, clinical, trialled, proper retinoids, but that's because I've been using them for years and I'm older and I need more oomph. If I was just Dolly Dealer from Tunbridge Wells and hadn't used anything before.
Yeah, you need to start on a low
I would start on a low, and I'd start on something oil-based. Yeah. So I would start something like a Zellen's vitamin A or a Luna, and people who watch this will know exactly what I'm talking about. So I have lots of favourites. Ketrol is probably, the prescription one is probably the one I saw the most instantaneous benefit from, which is obviously why, you know. But you, tell me.
I'm very simple with products. I've only tried Retroderm and Neostrata. I'm saying only, that's a lie. I've definitely tried different ones. If I want something a little bit stronger, I'll go for Neostrata.
It's definitely stronger.
It's quite strong.
But
actually,
here's the thing, it's only 0.5% retinol. But because it's in a gag carrying system, which I have an email about from Lorna, because I emailed and I was like, she had said to me when we did the training, it's actually the equivalent of 2%.
Yeah.
And I immediately was cynical and was like, oh, how can it be? But it is. It really is.
Yeah.
So I'll do a separate review on that. But I agree, it's not for a first timer, and I said that.
Have you used Retroderm?
Yeah. But I find...
That's definitely more for sensitive skin types. We sell that. We do sell Neostrata too, which is my favourite brand ever. But we actually sell Retroderm as a general rule.
Totally. And everyone I've sold it to has loved it.
Yeah.
So we are already, like, we've answered one question. Oh my God, this is what it's going to be like, isn't it? I love it. Okay, let me just go and see if there's anything... okay, well, we've already covered that one. Chickenpox scarring.
Difficult. I've got one on my chin.
Yeah. I generally say
if it's been there a long time.
If it's been there a long time, not really much you can do.
You can. I have seen them reduce a little bit with fractional.
Yeah. But if they're new and you're healed and your skin is calmed down.
But chickenpox are generally from being a little girl or boy. So a bit more difficult.
Okay, I'm going to give her this one now. Now, we haven't prepped this, but I want to see your reaction, because this is things we've had different opinions on in the past, but I think we're now aligned. Are at-home dermal roller treatments as effective over time as professional microneedling, specifically for acne, scarring and wrinkles? So putting aside the specifically part, dermarollers.
Amazing.
Right, amazing. I used to completely hate them. The reason, because, again, same with the Clarisonic, the people who sell them didn't really do the education. So people, I still see it now,
Using when people,
when they use them like they're mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then they want a deeper needle, and I've seen damage from it, which is my concern. Now, and then because I've said that on the blog, I've had people saying, oh, you said you didn't like them. I mean, God forbid you ever change your position in 7 years of writing about something. But you were one of the people who changed my mind about them. And then I saw good results from them. And also the effect, because obviously things have changed. When it first came out, it was, here's a big needle, roller it all over your face and then put a serum on.
Yeah.
When you compare that now to fractional and where we are now, they're two different beasts.
Yeah.
So now I wouldn't hesitate, but I would say, don't buy it from eBay. Don't buy something that hasn't been authorised.
Be careful on needle length for sure, and I think everyone went a little bit crazy.
That's where my concern came from. But you are the queen of it, so please tell us like 3 key points of why you love it. Not for me, for them.
So, the key reasons I love it, it's easy to use. You don't have to use a long needle length. You can use something really short that you would actually feel, which not painful. But by causing any trauma, and actually there's now, I feel a lot of the dermatologists and doctors and case studies don't always work on the deeper levels. They actually work a little bit more superficially over a longer period of time. So yes, at home, over time would definitely give you the results of a quick treatment. Not a quick treatment in
But I wouldn't be able to...
It's different to fractional. Yeah. I would rather do shorter needle lengths at home than a dermaroller treatment in the salon, because that's only one treatment.
Yeah, and you're going to get it repetitively if you're doing it at home.
Yeah.
If you're doing it correctly, and if you've been shown how to do it, and if you've bought it from an authorised stockist.
Be careful, definitely be careful of where you buy it from, because you need to know that the needles...
Oh my God,
forbid, and
totally clean and sterile and new and
not going to break. I mean,
probably not. I mean, but honestly, there are some horror stories, and I think what happened with me is I stepped away from professional treatments around the similar time that it was happening. So there is actually a video somewhere, God forbid someone finds it, of me dermarollering on GMTV.
Wow,
like that, mortifying. But there is and I am doing it, the way that I was trained to do it, and so. And then I kind of stepped away from treatments and did more on the business side, and there was just this influx. I would see people coming into store with messed up skin, and they'd go, oh, I've been dermarollering, and then they would demo. I would say to someone, show me how you do it, and they would go, oh, and I'd be like, oh God.
It's not necessary
It's not necessary, and the same with the Clarisonic, the same with the Foreo. Like, you don't have to go at these things like you're scrubbing bleach out of a carpet. So
that's how I started my acne scarring with Dermaroller before I used fractional. I mean, fractional's not new, it's something that's been around.
Fractional, by the way, is in a previous video. I will link that below so you know what we're talking about. But you love it, you're a fan.
Dermaroller. And also, marvelous. I feel that you can deliver product into the skin. So if you have a favourite product you want to deliver, you would basically
And I know there are questions about this, so for both in the clinic and at home, what would you follow, in your ideal world, what would you follow a Dermaroller treatment with? So what you don't want to do is slap on a big thick moisturiser.
No, you wouldn't put... Personally, I mean, we have a little bit of a different view on oils. I wouldn't be rolling an oil into the skin.
I would always do serum though. I wouldn't do oil. I'd do oil at the very
I'm not
end.
saying... Yeah, definitely not. Philippa, who works for me, if anyone's been to Philippa, she's amazing, and I'm sure she's not going to remember saying this, but she sometimes rolls retinol into her skin. But I'm not recommending that. Again, I never recommend things
that you wouldn't necessarily
as a rule, because everyone's different. So just
but also, Philippa's been a therapist for how long?
20 years.
Yeah, so when you've been doing something for 20 years, you try things on yourself that you wouldn't necessarily...
And you know your own skin.
And I call it, and I said, I was taking one for the team. I've made my skin bleed before in testing things that shouldn't be tested, just to make sure I was right in giving that advice. So, it's a hard job, someone's got to do it, but we love it. But yeah, I can totally get on the dermaroller with a retinol. I can totally see why she would do that.
Yeah.
But not on a client. Not on someone who's here,
No,
who you have to take care of, but doing it to
you
yourself.
You need to get to know someone's skin, and that's where you get better results if you actually come for several treatments, so we can get to know the skin. Dermaroller, I think it's a grey area that there's definitely room for more videos on that.
Yeah, totally. Okay. Oh, this is going to be one of her favourite words. Melasma treatment, please.
Melasma. Right. What's the question?
Well, it just says melasma treatment, please. This is Miss Veritas, namely azelaic acid products. Now, I would say, well, what would you first do for melasma? If someone comes in and lies down in front of you and you go, whoa, that is melasma, what would you do?
Kind of just going back a little bit on melasma. Again, I think it's a big grey area. To a lot of facialists. To a lot of people, facialists. I wouldn't say doctors, but sometimes I've had people that's been to the general practitioner and they've said that you have, melasma. Big topic for me. Melasma is definitely something that's generally caused by, generally caused by something hormonal. So it can be the pearl, it can be if you've been pregnant. Of course, the sun can bring the melasma up to the surface, but it is completely different to age spots, just general pigmentation caused by the sun. And should be treated really carefully. You've got to be very careful with lasers. I'm not saying that you can't definitely use lasers, it depends what kind of melasma, but definitely be more careful. And there is a treatment that we do now in salon.
Yep. Called
Cosmelan. Cosmelan, we can do a Cosmelan 1, which is in salon, and Cosmelan 2, which is something that you can do at home, and the at home is definitely as good as the treatment, but we are going to do a video.
Treating dark circles, I always say there's not really that much you can do with dark circles. It's similar to melasma. No. They're there for a reason. It's usually either genetic, or you're not well, or you're not taking care of yourself. They sometimes look better than others.
Diet, lifestyle, tiredness, lack of water can help, but
ultimately...
Actually, should I admit this on camera?
Oh God.
But you can have... filler will petrify everyone because they think filler volume and not necessarily. So you can actually, and I think this is something that we should cover actually, because it's not something that everyone knows about, but something called tear duct, tear trough, tear duct, not tear duct. We're not going to fill the tear duct. I'm going to fill my tear trough.
Okay.
And you are more than welcome to have the before and after pictures.
Oh, can I come film it?
Yeah, why not? If the doctor
and you're
will
doing
let
that because?
Because I think people say I look tired a lot, which I am generally tired, but not all the time. And it is because I've got a little bit dark, and especially someone that's quite hollow here. And I think that as I'm getting older, I'm getting quite hollow. So the filler will just naturally make that look fresher, but you won't see any volume. Promise. Well,
if you come out looking like a surprise tambourine, I'll never speak to you again.
But yes, I'd love you to film if
I will, absolutely. Okay, best way to solve ice pick scars after acne or any acne scarring that has left indents in the skin.
Quite difficult.
And the next one after it is again pitted chickenpox. There are only certain things you can do up to a certain point, aren't there?
You can help ice pick scarring for sure with more fractional. Microneedling again over time will help. But it's quite tricky. It's quite tricky to get rid of ice pick. It's quite deep. But I've definitely helped it. And maybe one of my lovely clients who I am pretty much finished a course of fractional will let me show the pictures.
Oh yeah, because she's very good. She always does before and afters on people that need sort of a really serious routine.
Everyone, maybe she'll let me share.
Interestingly, this lather to lashes, and we've sort of answered it, but it might be the end question is good. How do you work retinoids with clinical treatments such as dermarolling, fractional, dermapen? Now this girl knows her stuff if she's talking about dermapen. How far in advance do you stop retinol, and then when do you resume? So this is someone at home who's using quite hardcore anti-aging products and retinol in their nighttime routine. If they're coming in to see you for specific treatments, what do you say to someone when they come in? Do you say you need to stop, or you need to stop for now, or not really?
It depends on skin type, how deep you've done a treatment, if your skin's used to acids. If they are, then I would say pretty quick, but again, don't quote me on that because it depends on what skin type. But if I've just told you that Philippa sometimes puts retinol and actually rolls that into the skin, then... pretty quick, but it depends. It depends what retinol, it depends what skin type, it depends if you get a reaction.
And it also, and this is going to sound horrible, and I don't mean it that way, you'll know exactly what I mean, it also depends on who's doing the treatment. I would trust Philippa implicitly. I would not go. There are certain treatments I would not go for with someone who's newly out of college.
No.
And I don't mean it in a horrible way, but it's a lot of graft. I remember you saying to me, you have to burn a lot of people to get really good at laser. You know, I wouldn't go to a 17-year-old for laser.
No.
I wouldn't.
I mean, I wouldn't. I won't employ anyone that's got less
well, no,
than 10
you wouldn't
years.
hire anyone, but you know, I mean, there are lots of people out there but that is not. There are some great young therapists out there, but some things you need an older eye for. Yeah. And you also need to have someone who, and it's not a bad thing. A lot of young therapists are so eager to sort of share their knowledge that sometimes they don't know.
You have to make a mistake, and I hate to say this, but such as myself and other facialists in the industry, we sometimes get slated by not dermatologists, I'd say doctors.
Yeah.
And what we've got to remember, not all of them, is not a lot. How can I word this right? Some general practitioners.
Oh, I've said all this before, so don't worry.
Realise that the aesthetic and cosmetic industry, you can earn more money, and maybe it's because they love it, but it's not necessarily that they've been treating with lasers for a long time. They might have been treating for a few years. And I wouldn't always say that they're the best people to go to, and I don't want to become confusing, but
it's not.
I am only a facialist. I've worked with skin for 21 years. But I'm almost 41 years old. I've suffered with acne. I've been there. I've done that. I've tried. I've treated. I've experienced.
The key difference is, and this is the key difference that I always try and say, like, you're not trying to say, because I'm the first to say you need to go and see a derm.
Yeah.
You need to go to your doctor because actually you need a referral because that's more something to do with the body, and you need a referral to a clinical, you know. How I try and put it across is the difference between you and me, you more to a point, and even some derms is that I guarantee you have probably retrained 10 times a year.
Yeah.
For each year you've been doing something in the latest treatments. When they change their protocol,
it's all I do.
Yeah, when a brand changes their protocol, you get new training. When you do Dermalux, if they change their protocol and get a new machine, you do new training. You know, you're always retraining and making sure that you're up to speed, and that does not happen in the professional medical area as much.
I have the hours. You know, it's totally. All I do from 9 until sometimes 9.
Yeah.
She
works ridiculous hours.
Faces, and you know, not all of these doctors do. They might have been doing it for 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, but it's not necessarily saying that they've done a lot.
But they wouldn't have been doing it day in, day out.
No,
So, to be clear, we're not in any way saying they don't know their stuff.
No.
We are saying that there are certain things I would just make sure that doctor has put in the hours and knows what they're doing before you let them. Because when you let someone loose on your face with a laser, there has to be trust there.
Yeah.
Just
for sure.
Just saying. Okay, there's 2 here that I think we should cover.
I'd like to do laser videos too.
Yeah.
Different skin types,
totally.
tricks, and who should and shouldn't do lasers and IPLs. Sometimes a little bit different, but that's another.
What's your advice on sauna and steam room use, please?
I actually got interviewed on this by a stylist not so long ago. Personally, I love steam. I don't really like sauna, just that's my own personal preference.
But for the skin?
For the skin, I wouldn't over steam and over sauna because I feel that it can be too much. It can be a little bit dehydrating. You need to put the moisture back in.
And I would say definitely avoid if you're on the rosacea side. Rosacea, really, really high couperose, like anything. If you go really, really red really quickly, I'd be careful.
Possible broken capillaries?
Yeah, and if you're prone to broken capillaries, maybe no.
Yeah.
Are cosmeceuticals better than ordinary over-the-counter products?
Are
cosmeceuticals better than ordinary over-the-counter products?
Yes.
I think so.
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
They are. I mean, there will always be the odd. That's why I think. Here's an interesting thing. Like most brands, department store brands, have a hero product. Mm-hmm. And it's usually a hero product because they just managed to get it right.
Yeah,
they got something right.
More science.
And they've done science on it. And maybe it could even be, not to take away from it, but it could even be that it's just had really good press for 20 years. You know, most cosmeceutical brands have at least 5 or 10.
Yeah.
In terms of, I would absolutely recommend boom, 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 boom. Mm-hmm. You know, I can think of like SkinCeuticals, Neostrata, Exuviance, Mesoaesthetic, like anything across that plane, even to a lesser degree the doctor brands, I can immediately think of, I would definitely recommend boom, 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 you know, whereas I couldn't do that with the big 5 where you walk into a department store. There's always like 2 or 3 from those brands that I love, but it invariably will include a hand cream and, you know, something else. So I would say...
Definitely, definitely. And actually, funnily enough, they're generally cheaper than what you'll buy over the counter too.
So, like,
yeah,
beyond.
Yeah.
Totally beyond.
Our most expensive product, other than Cosmelan, is like £76 from Neostrata.
The firming collagen booster. Yeah.
That's the most expensive.
We've done microneedling. Everyone loves a bit of microneedling.
Which will be going online soon, everyone. So keep an eye out on my website.
Can you still do facial massage when you've had fillers and or Botox? Give them the timings.
Botox, I would say the day after. Don't know if any doctors would disagree with this, any injectors, but I would say the day after is fine. Fillers, I would definitely give it a few days. And then again, you're fine. If you want to be a little bit safer, maybe 5 days. But some people think that you can start moving the fillers around, but you can't. So yeah.
I did put my hands on a very famous beauty person once, and I said to them specifically, and I knew this person was known for, I'll tell you after, was known for filler. And I said, when did you last have filler? And they said, oh, not forever. And I said, okay, and I put my hands on their chin and I could feel it.
When you moved a cheek up here, she was like, oh my God, it was yesterday.
And I went to do a heavy cleanse, and I'm quite heavy-handed. I went like that, and I went, I can feel it in your chin. And she went, I was just testing you. Kate Washington says, I would like to know why glycolic acid isn't a good option choice for your higher Fitzpatrick skin types. Now, I mentioned this on the blog recently and caught a lot of people by surprise, because I think they thought I was referring to like Pixie Glow Tonic, which is a 5%. Obviously, where I'm coming from is a higher strength peel in the clinic.
The treatment.
Exactly. So what percentage would you max out in terms of darker skins? And would you even touch a darker skin with a glycolic peel?
I just wouldn't. No.
What would you use instead?
Mandelic, good for brightening. Anti-aging, lactic. Lactic's probably my favourite.
Yeah.
Both.
You like a bit of lactic,
yeah,
don't
I
you?
like lactic. But people can be lactic intolerant too.
Yeah. We're actually doing this and looking at questions. We've both had a lot of ideas about future videos we could do. I think there's definitely a video to be had in terms of peels, just talking through them and who they're for, and that can be a quick one.
Yeah,
in terms
I see a TCA question.
TCA.
But let's not go into that. Let's keep it. Let's see.
Do one sentence on TCA.
Very strong.
Very strong.
Very strong.
You go. You'll appreciate this one. SPF accumulating. The myth that if you apply an SPF 20 on top of an SPF 30 primer, you're going to get a 50.
Oh. Oh, not heard that one before.
That doesn't happen. It doesn't accumulate. The highest SPF you apply is the highest you're going to get.
Yeah.
Last question.
Sorry.
Go.
Maybe we should save this for
the
video.
Ask me and then I'll go with my last question.
What is your favourite SPF? No, that's a bad question because there's lots of products.
So many. I'm quite fond of Heliocare. You love a bit of Heliocare, don't you?
Love it.
Yeah. Okay, 2 things. What do you think about shaving the face? New trend.
I shave my face sometimes. A little bit fluffy hair here.
But in terms of like a proper microplaning treatment, and
you've got to be careful when messing with the hair follicle because it can give you spots. So that's the downside of things. I wouldn't say that, again, I will not make this a fact, but you shouldn't create more hair or make stronger hair. I think it's very hard to aggravate the hair follicle in order for it to come strong. It's just different hair. It's different, which depends what hair. You know, it might mean, because some women have little beards.
Yeah, if I don't pay attention to it, I can get a nice little beard growth going myself.
Yeah, but I don't think it's bad to shave the face.
You don't mind?
No.
But you don't really do it here much, do you? It's not like you don't offer microplaning or anything like that.
No,
You've had to do it for treatment things.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't sort of say, lie down, I'm going to give you a shave. Maybe we'll end it there. Oh, okay, we are now going to film 2 or 3 videos. I can't remember what else we're doing. Thank you for watching. We will definitely I will look back through this and collate what we have covered and what we definitely need to pick up on next time. And I know you guys will leave loads of questions underneath in terms of, but you didn't even begin to cover this. So let's check out what we've already covered. We will come back for part 27, as it may well be. And thank you for watching. And see you next time.